Hi guys, welcome you all to my channel. Is this your first time of coming to my channel? Thanks a lot. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. So in today's video we are going to be making a simple video on how to cut yoke corset with bra cup. Yoke corset with bra cup. So this video is a form of series which includes 3 types of corsets, right? So the first corset we talked about was how to achieve your tube corset with bra cup. We also have our yoke corset with bra cup, and we also have how to achieve your triangular yoke corset. So this corset tutorial is a series, so we have these topics included in the series. So all you have to do to enjoy all of this is give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. What this does is that it gives you notifications once a video pop up. So when we release the next corset tutorial, you are going to get notification on that, and all the details, all the links for our corset tutorial are going to be in the description box below. So what are the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve your yoke corset with bra cup? And I'm also going to be showing you guys how to fixing your bony. So basically I have the first method to fixing your bony is to insert your sewable bony into your fabric, and the other method is to insert your bony on the fabric. So in this series of our corset tutorial, I was able to explain how to achieve either fixing your bony into your fabric, in between your fabric or on your fabric. So if you are interested in also learning how to achieve that, then go ahead and watch the series of this corset, right? So what are the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve your yoke corset with bra cup? So we have our shoulder measurements, which is 14 divided by 2, we have 7. Our bust is 36 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 1, we have plus 1, we have 10.5. Our waist is 28 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 2, we have 9.5. Our top length is 16. Now we have 16 plus 2 inches for our hemming allowance, we have 18 inches. So basically these are the measurements required in order for you to achieve your yoke corset with bra cup. And you can also join us for training. Trainings are available. I'm going to put down the details of the training in the description box below. And in the course of this tutorial, in the course of this corset series, if you have any question that or any part you are not clear with, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. And if you have any topic you want us to make a video on, you can also drop that in the comment section. So now let's move to the sewing part of this tutorial. So guys, we are going to go ahead now and mark our basic lines, okay? So we have shoulder to armhole 9 inches, shoulder to bust 9.5, shoulder to under bust 13.5, shoulder to waist 17.5, and then we have our top length 22 inches. So I'll go ahead now and connect the lines together. After marking our lines, we have our armhole, bust point, under bust, waist and our top length. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and mark our dart measurements, okay? So our dart is 4 inches. We'll go ahead and mark our dart line 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. So this is our dart line. We'll go ahead and connect the lines together. After marking your dart line, this is what you are going to have. So the next thing you are going to do now is you will come to your under bust line this is our under bust line. Go ahead and mark 1.5 inches on your under bust. Mark 1.5 inches. So once you mark your 1.5 inches on your under bust, 1.5 inches on your under bust, go ahead and connect it to your bust point. So connect it to your bust point. This is what you are going to have. Now the next thing you are going to do is you determine how high you want your corset to be. That is, if you don't want it to show your cleavage, then you can leave it this way. If you want it to show your cleavage, and if you want to cover up your corset a little, go ahead and mark 1 inch or half an inch. It depends on how you want to cover up your bust. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark half inch. So I'll just cover my so we've marked half inch. Right now, note that you can, if you want to really reveal your bust area, you don't need to mark this 1 inch or half inch. If you want to cover it up very well, you can increase it with 1 inch. So for me, I just went with about half inch. Once you are done with that, on this line now, you will go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides. So go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides. Mark 1 inch on both sides. And then you connect your 1 inch to your bust point. Connect your 1 inch where you have your corset line to your bust point. So go ahead and connect this now. Now another thing you should take note of is that you shouldn't have a sharp joining around your bust point. So make sure you have like a curve around your bust point. Okay, so this is what you are going to have. So you also connect your 1 inch to your bust point also. So you make sure you don't have a sharp edge. It should be a curve. So this is what we have. This is what we have. So I'm going to go ahead now and insert my shoulder measurement. I'm going to go ahead now and mark my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder measurement is 7.5. So I'll mark my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches. Right now, for this other part of our corset, on your bust point, mark half inch on your bust point line. Mark half inch on your bust point line. So you mark half on your bust point line. You mark half on your bust point line, and then you connect this to your under bust. Okay, you connect it to your under bust. Now connect your bust point line to where you marked your 1 inch. So you connect your bust point line to where you marked your 1 inch, and you also connect it to your under bust line. So you can see that the shape of our corset is already out. Now for this other part of your bust line, you will discover that from this part to this line we have 4 inches, which is our dart. So we took away half inch at this bust point. So it means that from this dart line to our bust point we have 3.5. So you go ahead and mark the 3.5 on this other part also. On this other part. So if your dart line is 4.5 inches, by the time you take in half inch, you are going to have 4 inches. So on this part you will mark 4 inches if your dart line is 4.5. now you will now connect this line to this chest line, and you also connect it to your under bust. So you can see what it looks like. You can see our corset shape is already out and it's very easy. This is what we have. You can see our corset effect. Now this point here on our under bust, go ahead and extend this line to your top length. Go ahead and extend it to your top length because we are going to be cutting this off. This is what you have. So you just go ahead and indicate that you are going to cut this out just like your darts. That is very easy, right? Now we've marked our shoulder measurements. So we are going to go ahead now and mark our bust measurements and our waist measurements. While you are taking your measurements for your bust and your waist measurements, you are going to add extra 4 or 5 inches to your basic measurements, right? Now the reason why you are adding so much is because of your allowance, and also at your under bust here you've cut out 1.5. that is about 3 inches. So since you are going to stitch this part up, you also need to include your allowance to this part also. So my bust measurement is 10.5. I'm going to be adding 5 inches to it. So it's better you have enough allowance than by the time you are done stitching your darts, you can't find allowance anymore. So I'll add 5 inches to my 10.5. I have about 15.5. So I'll go ahead and mark my bust measurements. Okay, now for the waistline also, my waist is 9.5. I will also go ahead and add my 5 inches also to my waistline. It looks like, you can see it's very easy. So we'll go ahead now and connect our bust measurement to our waist measurement. So this is what we have, and this is what we have basically, right? Now for our shoulder measurements, so for other measurement, this is where we have 7.5 inches for the shoulder. Now because of this corset part, we've added about 5 inches extra, and by the time we are done cutting this part off, your bust measurement is going to move back to the initial line. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but let me just come over again. Now for the under bust, now we added 3 inches here. We have 1.5. So by the time you cut this out, which is about 3 inches, automatically your measurement is going to move in. Okay, now what I'm going to say is this: before you cut out your armhole, in order for you to achieve this, in order for you to achieve your armhole, now mark your initial bust measurement. Mark your initial bust measurement, which is 10.5. Mark your initial bust measurement, which is 10.5. Now what we have at this chest line is basically just 1 inch on both sides, which is an extra 2 inches. So you add up the 2 inches plus extra ½ inch. So this is our new line. So you connect this now to your shoulder measurement. Okay, So this is what you are going to have. So you can see that your shoulder measurement, your armhole is going to just extend this way. So by the time you are done cutting all of this out, automatically your bust measurements will end up falling in this place. So you have your armhole. Now what I'm going to do now is you go ahead and mark your neckline. Go ahead and mark your neckline. So I'm going to make use of 3 inches for our neckline, and also mark 1 inch for our shoulder slope. So we'll go ahead now and connect these lines together. This is what we have. So you also determine what kind of neckline you want, okay? Determine what kind of neckline and also the deepness for your neckline. So I'm going to be making use of 5.5. So I'll just go with a round neckline. So this is what we have. Now is I will go ahead now and cut this out. So after cutting it out, this is what we are going to have. So the next thing we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and cut out this dart line and also our corset. I will go ahead and extend my chest line. I will go ahead and extend my chest line. Then I'll cut this out. After cutting this out, this is what you are going to have. So you can see your yoke part, you can see your bust part, which is your corset, and you can see the side. Now another thing you have to take note of is it is very important for you to label these two pieces, okay? Label it so that you don't end up mixing the left side for the right hand side. So we have our side. This is our side. So I'll just label this part as the side corset. Use any number, okay, or anything that will make you familiar with it. So we have center front and we have center front corset. So with this now, I will know what part to attach to the side and what part to attach to the center front. So this is what it looks like. You can see it's actually very easy. So guys, the next thing we are going to do now is this is our back block. Now we'll go ahead now and mark our zip allowance, which is 2 inches. Connect the lines together. Now you go ahead and mark your dart measurement. We'll go ahead and mark our dart measurement and we'll connect the lines together. On the waistline now, we'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on both sides. That's for the waist. On the waistline, we'll mark 1/2 inch for our dart. This is what we have. Now for the lower part also, the lower part of our back block is going to be straight, okay? It's going to be straight. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead now and take our shoulder measurement. Now for the front block, when we wanted to take our dart line, our bust measurements, we added about 5 inches to it, right? But for the back block, we are going to maintain our normal measurement because we are not having any darts that we are going to cut off. So we'll go ahead now and mark our initial bust measurement, which is 10.5, and our initial waist measurement. So we'll go ahead and connect the lines together. So this is what it looks like. At this point now, we marked our hip measurement. Now we'll go ahead now and connect our armhole to our shoulder measurement. After connecting it, this is what you have. You go ahead now and mark. Don't forget that our zip allowance starts from here. So you go ahead and mark our shoulder line, our neckline. So we've marked our neckline. Now for the deepness of the neckline, you also determine what you want, how deep you want it to be. So I want 4 inches and I want like a square neckline. So this is what I'm going to mark. Now on my armhole, I'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch and connect it for my shoulder slope. So this is basically what the back block looks like. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out because our back block is going to have zip at the back. All you have to do now is to go ahead and cut out your neckline, and then your back block is ready. We want to cut out our yoke corset. All we have to do is to fold your fabric into 2 and then you place your pattern. And don't forget that for this center front, you should place it on this closed part, okay? So you go ahead and place it this way and then you cut it out. So after cutting it out, I'll show you guys what it looks like. After cutting it out, this is what we have. You can see the 2 sides, you can see this other bust. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead now and set this aside. So for the back block now, you fold your fabric into 2 and then you cut it out. This is what you have. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and cut out this upper part of our yoke with, I'm going to make use of this net. You can use like skin net or normal net, it depends on what you want. So for me, because this fabric has like a touch of wine, so I just want to use this net for the upper part. So I'll go ahead now and fold it into 2. After folding it into 2, I will go ahead and place my yoke and then I will cut this out. This is what we will have for the front block. You can see how beautiful it is. So we'll go ahead and place our back block also and cut it out to give us 2 pieces. Guys, after cutting it out, this is what we are going to have. You can see how beautiful it is. So this is what we are going to have for the back block, and also for our front block also we also have our yoke and we have the corset parts. So we'll go ahead now and cut out the interface and then I'll show you guys what next we have. Guys, this is what we have for the front block, and we also have like where we have our corset parts of the blouse, right? And you can see our yoke here. You can see our yoke. Now in this form of corset, I'm going to be fixing my bony. I'm making use of the sewable bony, okay? So I'm going to be fixing my bony on the fabric, In my previous video, I explained how to fix in your bony into the fabric, right? Into the fabric. So, and one thing about fixing your bony into the fabric is, especially when you are using this sewable bony, you can achieve that, because when you fix it into the fabric this way, you can go ahead and stitch it, right? You can go ahead and stitch it. But if you are making use of the bony that is not sewable, you will not be able to achieve that, right? So I'm going to be showing you how to fix in your bony on the fabric, right? So if you're interested in learning how to fixing your bony into the fabric, go ahead and watch my previous video on how to cut your corset. I'm going to go ahead and put down the link in the description box so that you can watch that and understand what I'm saying better. So I'll be fixing this boning now on the fabric this way, and of course I'm going to make use of my bust cup, my ready-made bust cup also. Now, how will you know the size of your bust cup? I made a video on how to calculate the size for your bust cup, so I'll go ahead and link that also in the description box so you can watch that. Now, the first thing we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and join this part together. Go ahead, okay, let me set this side aside. What we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and stitch this part. And also we'll stitch this part, right? Once we stitch these sides together, we are going to have like a single piece. After that, what we have now is 2 pieces on both sides for our corset, right? So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and stitch this to give us a single piece, and we'll also stitch this also to give us a single piece. So for the back block now, we have 2 pieces for the back block. What we are going to do for the back block is actually very easy. Go ahead and place your lining, and then you turn it with your lining. So after turning our back block with our lining, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Guys, I want to show you guys how to fixing your bony, right? That is, if you are fixing your bony on the fabric. I have a video where I taught how to fix your bony into the fabric. I'll go ahead and link that in the description box below. So this is just like a piece of fabric turned. This is a piece of fabric in which you've turned. Now we have our bony. Go ahead and insert your bony this way. Insert your bony into this fabric that you've used to cover your bony up. Once you are done with that, you go ahead now and stitch this here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you go ahead and stitch it here. You've made a case for your bony, so you just go ahead and stitch it here, right? So even if you are not making use of the sewable bony, you just stitch on your bony casing, right? And it's going to stay firm this way. So we've gone ahead now to stitch that. This is what we have. So we have bony coming this way, we have another one coming this way, and we have another bony this way. You can see how flat it lays well. So the next thing you will do now is you've gone ahead to join your bust point, that is where you have your corset, and of course we are making use of this bra cup. Go ahead and fix it this way. So if you have any excess of your cup coming out, you just go ahead and trim it off so that it can fit into your cup perfectly. Now we have our joining at this point. You can see the line of our joining, and also at this part we also have the line of this joining. So make sure that this point and this point meet together. So you fix them this way, and then you go ahead and stitch this all the way round. After stitching it, this is what we have. So after stitching it, this is what we have. You can see your corset is ready. So I'll go ahead and do the same for this other part. Just fix it this way. So to turn this with your lining, so you're fixing this cup into this part just like the way you have this, right? Our back block now, we've gone ahead to turn it with lining, which is actually very easy. And then for the upper part, which is our yoke, we've gone ahead to attach the yoke part to our main piece for the back block to give us like a complete back block, right? So you just go ahead now and fixing your zipper for the back block. So guys, we've gone ahead now to couple this up, making use of our bust measurements and our waist measurements. So you can see the corset as how You can see the corset, how it fits in properly, and our bony is laying well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. You can also join us for corset class training or any other trainings. I'm going to put down the details in the description box. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.